This has been my laptop for the past couple of days. It's small, it's old, it's slow, it runs an out-of-date operating system, but I like it a lot. I've been using it for the past week or two, and what I thought was gonna be an interesting challenge has turned into kind of my go-to laptop for school. So here's all about it. This is the Asus EPC 900HA. It's from 2008, and this was actually the first computer that I ever used. It belongs to my dad, and this was my first experience with Windows, the internet, YouTube, everything. But now, I thought that it was just an obsolete machine and that it was basically of no use other than for playing 3D Space Pinball or Solitaire. I was so wrong. I mean, just look at it. It's running a single core Intel Atom, 1 gig of DDR2 memory, a battery that's so old it's going to high school, a minuscule trackpad, and Windows XP. This operating system released 23 years ago, got its last update 16 years ago, and it's been discontinued for over a decade. There is no way it's still usable, right? Well, you'd be surprised. So originally this laptop had a hard drive that was probably a single hit away from dying. And the Windows installation on this was so clogged up that opening a program would lock the computer up so hard you had to remove the battery to shut it down. So instead of using spinning Rust, I put in an SSD that I happened to have lying around. And actually installed Linux first, because Linux is known to be lightweight and stuff. It was so slow that I did think that this was garbage. I immediately took the drive out and put the laptop on a shelf. It wasn't until months later, now in 2024, that I thought, hold on a minute. I want to try to daily drive Windows XP on a virtual machine. Could it be worth it in a machine of the time period? So I probably decided to flash Windows XP on a flash drive labeled Windows 11. I was actually kind of worried about the driver situation because Windows had no automatic driver installation back then. But turns out that Asus still hosts drivers to this day. And almost all of them installed fine, actually. While I was installing everything, I remembered why I wanted to give a shot at this laptop. Now, it looks very portable, very small. And if you know me, you know that I like small, portable, handy things. I mean, just look at this. It's as big as my palm. It weighs less than my ThinkPad, and it looks like a toy next to it. It's perfect. Honestly, I was very excited to see if I could actually use this laptop, so I started searching around to see what the software situation was like, because that could make or break the entire experience. Turns out that the Windows XP community is still alive and thriving, and there's a website with a huge repository of older versions of programs that still work, and there are still some web browsers that let you use the modern web, for the most part. I am using MyPal. It's a Firefox fork that's meant to work with these old computers, and it works fine. It's kinda slow compared to anything else on any other computer, but whatever. That's not the point. The point that it's fine and that it works. That's it. Even Google Drive works well, and I can kinda do schoolwork on it. And really the biggest challenge is the web browser, and it turns out it's not even a challenge at all. I've also installed some programs like the Office suite since we're using it at school, so at least I don't have to use a VM since I don't have it for Mac. Now you might be thinking, okay, yeah, sure, the browser works. What's it like to actually use? Honestly, it's great. If the main point of this laptop is being ultra portable, it's doing it perfectly. I don't feel weird using it in the train, and I don't even feel weird at all using it while walking. You know, I can do this with my 14-inch ThinkPad. I'm worried that's gonna fall out of my hands. I don't feel weird at all using this while walking, which is something that I sometimes do while switching classes or walking on the train station. Also, a huge party trick, it fits in my hoodie pocket. It works better in bigger hoodies, but look! I don't need to bring a backpack with me anymore. I often go to places with my backpack because I have to do something on the laptop. And after I'm done, I kinda forget about the backpack, and it wouldn't be the first time that I've lost my bag in some place. I don't have to worry about it happening again with this. Also turns out that the charger is not something that I super need. The battery lasts for about 3 to 4 hours, which is outstanding for something this old. It's better than my Surface Pro with a brand new battery. It's also about the battery that I get on a moderate day with my ThinkPad on macOS. And again, this is a battery that's almost 16 years old. And apparently when this was brand new, it reached about 5 hours of battery life. And that's with a hard drive. So with an SSD I could get 6 hours? Very impressive actually. One of the best things that I like about this laptop is actually Windows XP. Like many of you, I grew up on it, and I still think that it's one of the best Windows versions. And I'm not just saying that because of nostalgia. Computers look very boring today, and I like seeing a bit of color sometimes. I love the blue. Blue taskbar, blue window decoration, blue sidebar, and the bright accents like the red close button and the green start menu. What happened to brave designs like this? Yeah, it looks a bit like a toy, but there's always the classic style. Windows doesn't even let you change styles anymore, even if they are actually in the operating system code. Aero Basic is still a thing in Windows 11, it's just that you cannot enable it. And remember when Windows would come with actual games? Today we only have this weird Solitaire collection app.
With ads and in-app payments, you have to accept the privacy policy. And Microsoft sells your data to 567 companies. It's just Solitaire, just let me play the fucking game.
XP has Minesweeper, 3D Space Play Mode, a better version of Solitaire, without ads. The search even has a dog on it, and the jingles, the setup music. It looks much more live than the boring slabs of Gaussian blur stacked together. I also find that even with all of these colors, Windows XP is a really low BS operating system. It's to the point. There are no OneDrive pop-ups and backups and oh, please enable OneDrive. There are no ads from Facebook or Microsoft MSN. Settings aren't separated between two programs. Like, have you tried to change your username on like Windows 10? You actually have to go to Control Panel to do that. Still, this OS is much more cohesive and it doesn't get in the way. I honestly miss this OS when I have to use Windows 11 at my school computers. And now I do understand the hate for the new settings app and stuff like Windows 8. And all of this is why people stayed on Windows 7 for so long, until like 2020. One of my biggest annoyances with Windows is that a lot of its components are remnants from older releases. A big example is the Sound tab in the audio settings.
It has barely been changed since Windows XP. Here's how it looks in Windows 7 and Windows 11. Looks exactly the same and sticks out like a sore thumb compared to other Windows.
This is a huge issue that Microsoft has always struggled to fix. The volume indicator in Windows 11 was from Windows 8 for the most time.
And the network menu in the login UI still hasn't been changed.
Now, I'm a Mac user and I will say that Apple is also guilty of this. But at least they designed macOS in a way that these old things still look cohesive with the rest of the operating system. Not so with Windows, and it's really obvious. Remember when the Windows 11 drop-down menus looked like this? What I'm trying to say is that Microsoft has lost their touch with what made their operating system actually good. Over the past like 15 years, they've only been trying to maximize profits at the minimum effort. And since they've got the majority of the computer user base, it's in the bag, why bother being good? It's already working for them, so whatever. Going back to the laptop. Display is meh, the keyboard is survivable, and the trackpad is I couldn't expect more from XP era trackpad drivers. Scrolling is bad, and I typically have to use the scroll bars. Also, my trackpad sometimes has just a moment that starts to be disobedient. I mean, it is old. Also, screen has like a white vignette. I mean, honestly, it's okay, it's acceptable. Also, the buttons, they're too hard, I just do tap to click. The performance is kind of weird. It's an Atom, so performance with like computing is very slow. But at the same time, it's actually very snappy. I guess this is the SSD doing the work, since it's known that Windows XP flies on SSDs. I get boot times of like 20 seconds. Also, 1 gig of RAM isn't much of an issue, although I do make heavy use of the page file. And I mean, it seems to manage itself fine. Honestly, the imperfections of this laptop aren't anything that really bothers me. Yes, it's an old laptop, but I already know that. I'm not coming to this laptop with the intention of it becoming my daily driver for every day. It's just a small laptop that I like carrying around. For very simple tasks, it's all that I need. I wrote the entire script for this video on this laptop. I do actually really like this laptop. As I said, I like small and portable electronics, and this is real nice. It's not the most comfortable computer, and it's nowhere near as fast as even my aging ThinkPad, but I just like how small it is. In fact, I might look around for something like this that's newer. There are no other 9-inch laptops around. And honestly, I do think that it is kind of a small screen. I mean, having split windows is kind of a joke. There are some 12-inch ThinkPads, so I think I'm gonna give one of them a shot. For now, it's not a joke. I'm moving a lot of my operations to this laptop. For what I need to do at school, it's good enough. I would just see it even more if this could actually run YouTube, because it cannot really do it. Maxes out at 360p with modern day YouTube. And other websites also struggle hard with it, but oh well. And it runs Windows XP. It might be a bit of a hassle to get it working with modern day stuff, but I swear it's far more snappier than Windows 11, even on like a super fast computer. And this one actually has a bit of personality for once. And also the thing that no OS has anymore, the shutdown sound. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.